Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Serena and in today's video we're going to be making a men's pajama set. I've been getting a lot of requests to make more menswear pieces, and so I decided to share a pattern that I use quite often for my husband, and it's pretty foolproof for me and it's easily accessible for you guys because I use modern patterns to achieve this look. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to like this video. You can follow me on Instagram at SewRena_ to follow me and see what's up in real time. If you'd like to support this channel further, you can leave me a virtual tip on Ko-fi. You can also become a bobbin by joining Patreon, where you get exclusive videos and exclusive content from yours truly. Before I get into the fabric and the pattern requirements, this video is kindly sponsored, so let's hear from our very first sponsor. Today's sponsor is Brooklinen. Brooklinen is a luxury sheet company that gives you quality sheets at a fair price. I chose Brooklinen because I was in the market for some new sheets, especially for the spring and summertime. I'm definitely a hot sleeper. Here on my channel, we use a lot of natural fibers because they are durable and breathable. So when Brooklinen reached out to do a collab, I was more than happy to give their sheets a try. We've slept on these sheets for a couple of nights and we've definitely benefited from the natural cooling and moisture wicking properties of linen. I found that they have the most beautiful packaging and I love to reuse packaging. With Brooklinen, you're able to mix and match over 20 colors and patterns, so that way you have the most unique combination for your space. Brooklinen Sheets has over 100,000 5-star reviews on their website, more than any other bedding company. I got the linen hardcore bundle, which comes with a fitted sheet, flat sheet, duvet cover, and 4 pillowcases. By bundling, you save 25%. These sheets look and feel great. Brooklinen is offering my viewers a special discount of $20 off of a $100 purchase using my code SewRena. Shop the link in the description box below. For today's fabric, we're going to be using 3 different fabrics so that way I can color block. I'm using 2 poly cottons and 1 100% cotton. The peach colored gingham is 100% cotton, and then the other 2 are poly cotton. Since this is intended for the spring and summer seasons, I wanted something very lightweight and breathable, and I also wanted it to match my kitchen because I want this to be a Barbie inspired pajama set. For the pattern, I'm using McCall's 5992 for the top. This comes with a lot of different views. I like to use view A, and so that's the pajama top with the short sleeves. And for the pants, I'm using Simplicity D0834. This is a classic slim cut pajama pants. It has pockets, it has a button fly, and it ties at the waist, and there's elastic as well. I always alter the pattern so that way they are shorts, since my husband doesn't use long pajama pants. So since I'm color blocking, I decided to show you my little diagram that I made. So on the top where it says front, the first 2 squares represent the front of the pajama top. So the left is going to be blue and the right is going to be pink, and then the bottom is the pajama pants, so the left is going to be yellow and the bottom is going to be blue. The same sentiment goes for the back of the garment, so that's represented in the bottom 4 squares. The bottom represents the shorts and the top 2 represents the top. I am starting with cutting out the back sections of the top, so I layered the yellow gingham fabric on top of the teal gingham fabric, and instead of cutting this on the fold, since I'm wanting to color block, I'm having to cut out each separate piece. So in order to make up for having to sew that seam down the back, I have to add 5/8 seam allowance to the back of the garment. Don't forget to add that seam allowance back if you plan on cutting out the 2 pieces individually. If you have the fabric to do so, then you want to also pattern match, but I'm trying to get the most out of this fabric since I'm making matching pajamas, so I'm going to be ignoring that for now. Plus, all of my gingham is not the same scale. The pink peach gingham is actually bigger than the other 2. Now it's time to cut the front section, so I have the teal gingham layered on top of the peach gingham, and I'm cutting out the front 2 sections, and I save cutting the sleeves last so I don't get my colors mixed up because I definitely want them in a certain order. The goal is to save some fabric so that way I can make the kids something with the scrap, but if not, I will definitely have to order more fabric for them. Originally, the plan was just to make me and my husband an outfit. So the first step is sewing the center back to make it one piece. So I'm using a French seam for this, and of course I'm using 5/8 seam allowance. You can use whatever seam allowance you want since you've made this seam up yourself. I think you should stick to the seam allowance of the overall project so you don't forget what your seam allowance is. Now it's time to sew the shoulder seams, and of course I'm doing a French seam here as well, and I'm making sure that the colors alternate and no two colors are touching each other. When I color block, I like for no light colors to touch each other, so when the top is on, I don't want matching colors to be directly underneath it on the bottom. So I want it to constantly be alternating, if that makes sense. Vintage patterns don't have a very large or wide size range, and I think the largest that I own is a 44 chest in men's. So it's very convenient to use modern patterns in the place of vintage patterns. And in vintage pajama patterns, not much has changed for men over the years. So the only real difference between the vintage and modern patterns, besides the sizing, is the cut of the pants. The pants are usually higher waist, and modern pajama pants are low waist. The one I have doesn't feature a fly front, so doesn't have easy bathroom access. So that's why the modern one comes in handy, because it's just a lot more simple to wear and more ease for him. Now that the shoulder seams are sewn up, the side seams are still open, and it's time to cut the sleeves. I'm going to be going with yellow and pink. The yellow will be going on the left side and the pink will be going on the right. The sleeves are on, and before I close up the side seams, I'm going to mark where the pocket goes, and I'm going to put a yellow collar because I feel like the front could use some more yellow, and a peach breast pocket on the blue/teal side. Because I want to use a yellow collar, I have to also go with yellow facing because it's like a notched collar, so the facing also has to match the collar. And so I put a little bit of lightweight interfacing on the facing, and now I am sewing that on. The facing will give it structure, and it also will hold the weight of the buttonholes on this really lightweight fabric. If you don't have a lightweight interfacing but you have organza laying around, that will also work for something like this. You don't want it too stiff because then you'll be able to tell that it's faced under this super thin fabric. This pajama top is really quick and easy to make. I've already made it maybe 4 or 5 times now. It's my go-to for like Father's Day gifts, and around Christmas time I usually make his Christmas pajamas out of this because it's tried and true. It fits really well, and I know he likes it, and it's also really quick for me to make, especially if you're not doing any fancy alterations or color blocking. After making this in a really thin fabric, I think it will be a really nice beach pajama. If you made it out of a thin linen, it'd be really cute too. Moving on to the shorts. This is an intense pair of shorts. They're made up a lot like pants. So here is the pocket, and I'm doing the pocket in alternating colors too because they will be peeking out through the sides. So here I am sewing that up. Everything is going to be serged on the pants because there's just so many moving parts, from the pocket to the pocket facing, the fly. It's just a lot. So it's easier to serge this than try to do French seams on this. So here is the left side pocket. It looks really nice. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the other side and move on to the fly. And here I am sewing the fly up, or at least the fly facing. Again, there's so many moving parts to this. It's also very important that you make all of the right markings, and this fabric lends itself well for that because you can see directly through the fabric onto the pattern, so you can mark all of the markings perfectly. If you do not have a thin fabric to be able to do that, then I do recommend you get like a carbon paper and a tracing kit or something like that, or even use tailor tacks and tack the markings on, because the fly has to line up. You have to do some top stitching, and if you want it to look nice and professionally done and neat, it's very important that you do it right. Here I am adding in the buttonholes for the fly front. The buttons are hidden on this, so there's like a fly front and a fly facing, so you don't see the buttons directly up front. I'm using my Singer professional buttonholer to put the buttonholes in this, and this is a vintage buttonholer attachment. The next step is to attach the fly to the facing, and you're going to attach that right sides together and sew it down before moving on to the next step, which will be top stitching the fly. It wasn't marked on the initial diagram, but because I don't want to like colors touching each other, I decided to make the fly in the pinkish color, so that breaks up the yellow and the blue. This is the part of the project where it helps to have some carbon paper or to mark out the stitching. I marked mine out with some fabric disappearing ink pens, and so now I am top stitching the outline of the fly, and I think it'll be really nice to have that little peekaboo of pink under that yellow. It's also really helpful to have that diagram because throughout this process it could have been really easy to mix up my colors, so it was easy for me to consult back and forth with my little diagram. You can do it digitally, or you can just make a physical copy with like fabric swatches. So far, all of this work has only been for the front of the shorts, so it's been a lot to put it together, but it's so nice that it's worth it because the top is so easily sewn together. I am attaching the inseam first, which I've never done before, even though I've made this pattern 2 other times. I just attached it the way that I usually attach pants, but I'm gonna do it this way because everything's coming smoothly and I'm too tired to deviate from the plan, right? Sewing up the remainder of the shorts was easy and simple enough, and sewing it the way that the pattern instructions told me to was not difficult at all. If you're unfamiliar with my Patreon, one of the perks to joining over there is that I have a shopping list for all of my projects. So if I can remember the direct links from where I got some of my fabric, then I put them up over there so that way you can shop the exact fabrics that I used. Also, this month's exclusive Patreon video is live. It is a hat tutorial. I want to thank all of my bobbins who support me over on Patreon and the donors on Ko-fi for making these videos possible and going the extra mile to support me. And I also want to give special thanks to each and every one of you who like, comment, and share my work. You guys' support has helped grow this channel and get it to where it is. Every view, every like, every comment is engagement, and that helps get the attention of different brands and pushes my videos through the algorithm. So for that, I am thankful. Now it is time for the reveal. I am pleased to say that Mr. SewRena is very happy with how his pajamas turned out. They're easily his favorite pair because the material is so lightweight. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. Thank you Brooklinen for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to check out the link below to shop their beautiful selection of linen bedding. Brooklinen is offering my viewers a special discount of $20 off of any order over $100. Just use the code SewRena. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!